Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome. Welcome back to another stream. Welcome back to another Friday. Happy Friday. All right. Let's get started. So, good morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Chef, it's just it's the futures expirations. So futures have expirations as well. So as you guys may or may not know, today's that big quad witching that everyone's talking about, where options expire, futures expire. A lot of what are the other two? Options expiration, futures expiration. I don't pay attention too much to this, guys, because I know everyone hypes it up, but all it means is that there's volatility. It doesn't really mean anything. Futures, stock index options, index futures, stock options, and single stock future derivatives all expire at the same time. That's quad witching. That's today. People like to throw it out as a buzzword, but it's just a day of volatility. Nothing that's gonna be today's a huge day. So yeah, a lot of expirations going on today. Expect volatility more than anything because there's a lot of money going to be moving around. Does that mean up? Does that mean down? It's pretty much not something that you can really predict in that sense. But yeah, that's what it is, Chef. It's just the next contract, the next futures contract. All right. So yesterday, very nice downside on the market. We sort of spotted that in the pre-market yesterday. A very nice pre-market downside move. We saw that rejection of the previous low from Wednesday and just sort of rode that thing down. So really nice downside move yesterday. Some important things to be watching out for. think there could still be some more potential downside here on the market. There's some key levels that we will need to get back above, and if we don't, I would be still looking for downside. So some very important things to be watching on this Friday. We'll see how the market movement is. That's something I'm interested in today. Do they just chop this thing sideways with all these with all this expiration going on? It's very possible, and if it does, then Friday 0 DTE on a chop day is your worst nightmare. Not something that I care to get involved in if I don't see any type of clean market action. So that's definitely something I will be aware of today, something I will be cognizant of and be aware of, and not, push it if it's not there. That's definitely very important to me today. TSM did break that channel. Good call there, Troy. I'll watch that. Other thing that I'm watching today that's sort of on the top of my watch is the Dow Jones. Now, as you guys know, I don't watch the Dow Jones as much as I watch, say, the ES or the NASDAQ, but the Dow Jones is going to be interesting, I think, here, because the Dow Jones was the indice that was up the most, and today it is down the most. So the Dow is down 0.86%. The NASDAQ is down 0.45, so almost half. The NASDAQ is down half of what the Dow is. And then the ES is down just about even with the ES is down just about even with the Dow. The Russell is down a little bit more than everything else, but that Dow weakness is definitely something that I am watching today. If I see continuation to the downside on the Dow, I think there are a lot of opportunities on some Dow stocks to watch for downside. Caterpillar, a trade that I'm in since that channel high, those should be up. I might be up like 200% on those today. Unfortunately, that's a very small position for me, but still a great trade. I might even look to add to this short position if we break this channel low on CAT, and if I see that Dow weakness. We got Home Depot that's pretty extended. We got UNH extended. We got Boeing off that 190 level. So, yeah, definitely watching some of these Dow names today. That's why you see it in the title. I am definitely going to be watching how the Dow performs today versus the rest of the market. If I start to see the weakness step in there on some of those, sort of pushed up names that have been sort of holding all year or holding better than most, I will see if there's opportunity there. So that is something I'm watching today. That's my first sort of mindset as I approach today. But we will we'll look around and prepare for the day the best we can. So as always, welcome back, guys. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate, you guys coming here. It's crazy, every day we got a couple thousand people coming here watching the streams. It's pretty awesome. So thank you once again. Thank you for the great year, and thank you for everything. So today, futures economic earnings calendar. Economic calendar. Today, manufacturing PMI flash, services PMI flash, 945. So let's just be aware of that at 945. Besides that, it's pretty much it, right? Nothing really else going on the economic calendar today, so let's keep an eye on that one. That's today, Friday, December 16th. Next week, pretty light next week. You do have GDP. This is going to be a big one. I think that's probably what the market's going to wait for at 8:30 on Thursday morning. This is actually my birthday, so we're getting a GDP reading on my birthday. That is interesting. I'll see how that goes. And then this 23rd, you got inflation expectations, consumer sentiment, real disposable income, real consumer spending, PCE. So that's a pretty big one as well. So next week, it really starts on Thursday, it looks like. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty light. And then Thursday, Friday sort of gets heavy on the economic side. All right. So that's that on the economic side. Caterpillar, we're watching that one today. I appreciate that, man. AW, thanks for the support. Caterpillar, big channel low. Definitely watching this today. Absolutely, probably one of my top watches today. I'm already in this trade. If you guys are in the Discord, you're aware. So I'm gonna hold it. I like it a lot, and I'll even consider adding if I see this work out nicely today. Boeing 190 rejection. I have all my eyes on this one as well. I only have two eyes, but I will definitely be watching. I am definitely watching Boeing off the 190 level. Home Depot, 330. Liking this as well. 330, it rejected that level. I like this for potential downside under 316, watching this one. Netflix continuation, we'll talk about it. Tesla at 150. Tesla's interesting. I'm actually thinking about trading Tesla with shares short term. That is something I am considering. I'll tell you sort of what my mindset is here. I was thinking maybe buy 100 shares here on Tesla, have a stop under 150, risk about $800, right? Risk about $800 here, and see if I can get any type of outperformance on Tesla off this weekly 150 level. You know, if I can risk $800 here with a stop under 150, let's say this thing just pops up to where it was. Let's say there's some type of squeeze on this thing with how weak it's been. Let's say there's a move up to, like, say, 180 or 175, 180. You know, that's a $2,000, $3,000 gain for about an $800 loss. It's a pretty good risk reward, right? It's a pretty decent risk reward. So I don't want to trade this with options. I hate the way this trades with options now. I don't know what it is about Tesla, but I really haven't enjoyed Tesla options. But if I could buy, 100 shares here, risk $800, maybe make $2,000-$3,000 on the upside, it's not a bad risk reward. I'm thinking about it. I might take action on that today. I know it's a little contrarian. I know it's a little bit, against the market, but this is an interesting day on Tesla yesterday. This was Tesla, right? We'll talk a little bit more about it when we get started here today. NVIDIA 170, watching this, and then I want to go over some of the spider ETFs, XLE, XLF, XLV, get an idea of some of these sectors. All right. So that's that. Let's get started. Welcome back. Thanks again. All that good stuff. Here we go. Press the like button, of course. Don't forget that. Yeah, I could buy the shares and write a covered call. It's not a bad idea, honestly, Theta. I like that idea. That actually reminds me. All right. Here we go. So, NASDAQ. What is the NASDAQ doing? If you're buying shares, it would just be a trade, Dustin. It would just be a trade. I don't really know if I want to, we'll see. If it continues strong, I'll hold on. I'm not going to take profits, but I'm not going to hold it if it drops under 150. Under 150, that could get aggressive. Yeah, I'll throw in some of these names, guys. TSM, Meta. I'll be sort of going around. I just got to have a schedule, so we have some type of structure here, but we'll sort of mess around, look at some other names. All right, NASDAQ 4 hour, right? You guys can see we were in that channel for quite some time, about a month now. We broke that channel low this morning. That is very important, right? We broke this channel low today in the pre-market. We traded back down to it yesterday, right? You guys can see right here. You can see support. You can see support. You can see support, right? That support came in again yesterday at 11,450. We traded right back down to 11,450. You guys can see right here. Yesterday, we traded down to 450, 50 SMA, sort of held it. Look at this drop in the pre-market, right? So we've had that drop in the pre-market. Where did we get a drop like that before? Yesterday, right? Look at yesterday. So we had this support, right? We had this support come in right around this, what was this? Right around this 845, 850 level on the NASDAQ, both on FOMC and CPI. And look at what, this was yesterday pre-market. Aggressive flush to the downside yesterday pre-market, and we got that continuation move. Now, today, right, you're seeing something very similar. You're dropping below this very important channel low on the NASDAQ and the 50 SMA. Does that push back higher, and does that turn into a rejection point? That is definitely something I am eyeing today, right? You can see as we speak, we're actually sort of rejecting yesterday's lows. So, you can see right here, right? Yesterday's lows, we're rejecting it right now. That is exactly what happened yesterday pre-market. Look, the exact same thing. Is it that easy today, right? Is it that easy today? I don't know. But yesterday, we pushed higher here in the pre-market, right around 7:40, 8 o'clock. Previous lows into a rejection, and look what happened. Now today, previous lows into a rejection around the same exact time. Does that hold as a rejection point today? That is what your eyes should be on, right? That is everything. I think the only way you will get any type of upside on this market is if you get a break of at very least, 11.5. If you can get above 11.5 today, then maybe, just maybe, there is some kind of short-term squeeze here off this demand. But if you can't get over 11.5, I would not be looking for upside here. There is no reason to look for upside through this area of consolidation and this area of potential rejection points. Maybe there's something if you can get over 11.5, maybe you make up a little bit of this downside, but that will require a pretty strong market that I don't quite know if you're going to see today. So I like this rejection point. That's definitely the first thing I'm watching. Previous lows into a rejection as we speak. If we get above that, then watch the 50 SMA and watch the 11.5 area. This is the channel low, right? We are rejecting the channel low. That's a big rejection point. The monthly channel low, we are under it, and we are potentially turning it into a rejection point, right? So watch out for that today. 50 SMA, 11.450, 11.5. Keep an eye on this area. This could be a rejection play. If it is, then I would look for around this 11.2, right? If we get more downside today, I would watch this pivot right here, 11.2. So 11.450, 11.5, you reject that, and the 50 SMA, look for 11.2. The only way I could see any type of, short-term sort of something to the upside, nothing that I would trust, but the only way I could see any type of short-term upside would be if you really got up here over 11.5, started to hold above 11.5, then maybe you can get something here. But before that, you cannot be chasing upside. You have to see that 11.5 break. Before that, you're just playing with fire here. This is all potential rejection point. I mean, this whole area, right? This entire area is heavy. 11.415 to 11.5, that entire 75-point range, I would not look to trade upside through. Not at all. All right, that looks very heavy. You can see how heavy it was yesterday. Okay? So watch out for that range today. ES, pretty much the same thing. If you go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see here, we have the channel low. I'll delete some of this to make this cleaner, and then we'll draw this out. So you had the channel low here on ES, right? You had previous lows here, previous lows here, previous highs here. This was your channel low. This is where we found demand multiple times, right? Rejections, support, and support. You found support at that same level yesterday, right? You go to the 5-minute, look at yesterday's action. You can see yesterday just sort of held that level, right at that previous channel low. And look at the pre-market today, right? You got your slip. So what are we watching? We're watching yesterday's lows, and I would say we watch into right around this 39.40, right? This entire area, I would not be looking to play upside in. 3900 to 3910 to 3940, that looks like an area that you do not want to try to trade upside into, right? This could be, this whole area could be rejections. Every single area within this zone, this supply zone, could be a rejection. So be careful trading upside into that. That would be my rejection area to watch for. The only way I could see maybe some type of short-term upside is if you turn this rejection point around 39.40 into some kind of support. If you break the supply, maybe you get a little bit of push above this little double top from yesterday. Maybe you still got to watch out for some levels here, right? You can't just hope and pray that this goes up, but you do have to watch out for some of these levels. So, yeah, that's what I would watch. This entire rejection area, anywhere between yesterday's lows and this little top here around this 39.40, 39.10 to 39.40, about a 30-point range. This could all be rejections, right? We're below it now. If we push back into it, watch for the rejections. 50 SMA is holding as support for now. If I go to the 4-hour chart, you can see 50 SMA is attempting to hold as a support for now, right? Why watch the 50 SMA? Because it's the 50 SMA. And it acts as an area of interest on the market. So, yeah, 50 SMA holding there. I would watch that, right? You can see it's sort of trying to bounce right off that level right now. So, watch out for that 50. Dow Jones. I I'm definitely watching the Dow Jones for some downside today, back into this 200 SMA area and this 50 SMA area, right around this 32.5, right? I'm watching this 32.5 here, right in this area. If we can get some more downside on the Dow, I like to see if we can just fall through this little low volume area here into 32.5 on the Dow. I like this flush right here on this 33.350. You guys can see right there. See this little support here, rejection here, support here. Yeah, if you can turn yesterday's lows into a rejection point today, right here, if I zoom out, maybe you even watch up to this level. Let me push this up a little bit. So you can see, look at these rejections yesterday. Look at what happened yesterday. You had the previous lows here, previous triple bottom right here. It turned into a perfect rejection point yesterday. Very clean. So today, you guys can see, we pushed higher. We rejected this previous low. We turned it into a perfect break and retest at 33,500. The rejection of 33,500 should show you that this market is making lower lows and lower highs. It's turning previous support into rejections. That is very, very key right there. If this Dow weakness wants to continue, I think you can move down to this 32.5. And if that happens, there's a lot of Dow stocks that I'm watching for downside. Russell. Big channel low on the Russell here. 1760. So you're right there. Look, support, support, support. You got to watch out for that 1760 on Russell. That's down the most today. The Russell's down 1% already. All right. That's the futures. We'll revisit them towards the end of the stream, but that's what I would watch today. Let's go to CAT. CAT. So today, I entered CAT puts. I'll pull it up. I don't remember exactly the day. I think it was 2 days ago. Here it is. The 14th. Yeah, 2 days ago. I entered CAT December 23rd, 230 puts for $2.06. I bought those when the stock was trading around 235, so right up in here. Yeah, I like this downside, right? I just played it off that channel high. You guys know we talk about channel highs and channel lows all the time on this channel. Channel. If you see something at a channel high, the risk to reward is good for you to the downside. Take it, have your stop over the channel high, and just watch it work. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't. You take your small loss, right? Your risk to reward is in your favor. Stops over 240, rewards down to the channel low, right? Risk to reward is in your favor. So that's why I took that, right? I've been holding it. I took next week's because I had a plan to hold it. We'll see what happens today. But if we can get this channel break, I think there's a lot of juice here. So I am definitely watching this to potentially even add into it. If we can break this 225, I see some juice, right? I mean, maybe 220 would be the first stop. That would be the first area I would look to see if it starts to hold. If it breaks 220, I mean, at that point, I'm thinking 200 here. You're really not seeing much support in this area. This is a pretty low volume push. This is a straight up move. I would look for the downside. So yeah, 225, right? 225. That's what I would watch today. If that breaks with some Dow weakness, there's another trade there that I would be watching. Boeing. I like this as well. Daily chart on Boeing, you guys can see right here, we've been sort of eyeing this 190 level. You can see previous support into a rejection here at 190. What did Boeing just do off 190? Right, you can see the rejections that are coming in. Right, very clean rejections coming in at 190 here, starting to get some weakness off of it. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see that 190 rejection starting to come in. I would probably look to see if this can trade back down to the 170 area, right? That's what I'm going to be looking for on Boeing. Trade back down to this little support here, right around this 170. See if I could trade this probably right back down to here and then sort of figure out what happens at this level. But I'm definitely watching Boeing off 190. I think that's a potential setup. Stop over 190s and see if that Dow strength or that Dow weakness comes in. But I like Boeing off that 190 level. That's another one that I will be watching today. Home Depot. Home Depot's another Dow name that I like for potential downside. 330 was a major rejection point, right? You can see that 330 rejection here that came in back in August of this year. Look at what happened when we got over 330. Look at the instant just sort of denial. Home Depot just instantly denied any type of upside over 330. I mean, it got shot down as fast as it got over it. So I'm thinking that above 330 here is getting real heavy. You can see we got above it. This was on CPI. We quickly shot right back into it. We fell below it yesterday, and now we are trading back below a previous rejection point, right? We're trading back below this 330 rejection point. If we stay under 330, right, I'm liking this for downside. I'm liking this for a 330 rejection. I'm liking this for maybe a test of this uptrend. If it breaks the uptrend, watching 316, right? And if it breaks 316, it does a little rejection of 316, I think you're looking at 303, 300 area, right? So watching this, it has to stay under 330. Right? If the market does continue lower, that's the prerequisite for this, right? If the market spikes today and we get another big push to the upside, then, Home Depot is not going to work. It's as easy as that. But if you see that weakness on the market, if that continues to step in, then I like this with a stop over 330. Risk reward's definitely there. I would be watching this one. Netflix. So Netflix just paid the bills, man. Netflix was so sick. I'm so happy about it. I mean, this entire trade idea was, from start to finish, was here on the live stream, was in my videos. I think a lot of people saw it. I'm just so happy with how it worked out. I know it's really not that hard of a setup, right? It's something everyone out there can catch, right? If they're just paying attention to the levels, paying attention to technicals, if they're really focused on their craft, like really here, watching charts, understanding what's going on, not having emotion, right? This trade setup was very catchable. So previous double bottom into a perfect rejection. This is the break and retest. This is what I talk about every single day. Really nice gap close, rejection off the double bottom, and you just take your puts there with the stop over 330, and you just watch that thing just rake in the money. So really nice downside move off Netflix. At this point, it's a little bit extended in my opinion. How much do I still want to be getting involved here? That's pretty much the move I was looking for. I would probably look at like this 275 level. I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart here. So you guys can see right here, 275, 276. You guys can see it right there. That's probably the level I'd watch, right? If we get more downside, I think you probably could get some support around that 275. I'm not sure that I will be shorting Netflix here into 275. It might be a little downtrend break, right? You might start to see this continuation step in, but could there be some short-term support off 275? I think so after this drop, and then maybe it does, something like this, and then eventually it gets the drop, something like that, right? I think that's totally possible. There might be some support that steps in here at that 275 level. So just watch out for that. Don't get over aggressive here. Netflix has already given you pretty much the main move. I mean, it's down 15% in 2 days. You had to sort of catch that one. If anyone that got sort of aggressive on these downside moves on Netflix, right? You started to, chase this downside here. You started to chase this downside here. You lost, right? You lost in a big way. So just be careful chasing this downside. Unless the NASDAQ is down 4%, unless the NASDAQ's just getting absolutely crushed, then be a little bit cautious on Netflix around this 275. All right? Tesla. So back to my Tesla idea. As you guys know, I had some pretty nice profit in the last, 3 days, right? I don't really want to, I made a good amount of money in my IRA. So I have about $30,000 in cash in my IRA right now. So I'm thinking about, what can I do with this cash to potentially capitalize, and maybe something a little bit lower risk. I don't want to go out there and lose it all. I don't want to go out there and keep getting aggressive on these plays. Found some nice plays, did well on them. But what can I do to maybe, take a good risk reward setup, a little bit lower risk, something that I like? I'm thinking Tesla here, right? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about, buying some shares here around this 158, having about an $8 stop loss. having a stop loss under 150 here. I know Tesla has been just getting crushed, but I think there will be a point where Tesla finds some outperformance. I really do, just for pure technical reason. So you can see this 150 area. This is, a huge area previously. 150, it sort of came back down to that level yesterday. So you can see we got pretty damn close to that level yesterday, right? Look at the gap down on 150 on Tesla in the pre-market, and then look at the reaction off this 150 yesterday. So there's something here, right? There's something telling me that there's some big buyers down here that are holding this thing above 150. I might want to try to be part of that for, even if it's just a move, right? I could just catch a move up to Tuesday's highs, and that would be a $2,000 gain. So this is definitely something I'm thinking about today. I'll sort of keep you guys updated on that one. I would have my stop under 150 without a doubt. I would probably even just put a hard stop. Like I would put sell limit, sell stop 150, right, and just sort of forget about the position. Risk $800, and who knows? Maybe if I get something legitimate here, let's say this thing moves up back to like the 190s, even the 200s at some point in the next year, next 6 months. Right, that could be a big win. I mean, that could be a $4,000, $5,000 win with an $800 risk. I'm interested, so I just wanted to bring that up. Might be totally wrong here. I could be catching a falling knife. I totally get that, guys. I'm not delusional to that fact, right? I know what I'm getting myself into, right? But if I can. If I know risk reward, if I'm trading off risk reward, I sort of like it here. So we'll see. I'm not really, I'm not going to like just buy it, write it open and just forget about it. If I see some outperformance, maybe if I like a certain level, if I'm comfortable with the risk that I'm taking, maybe I'll look to take it. So yeah, that's my thought right now. But I could just I could run covered calls against it to basically minimize my risk. So let's say I can collect $800 in premium and stop out under, with an $800 risk. I could basically make the trade risk-free at that point. So if I can collect $800 in premium with a $8 stop loss, then I could make the trade essentially risk-free. There's a decent way to play this here, I think. So I'm just sort of game planning, getting some ideas. Always want to think about what your next move is, right? Don't ever let them know your next move. So, NVIDIA, 4-hour chart. In NVIDIA around this 140, still looking good here. But, I like this. I like NVIDIA for potential downside here if we reject this 170 level. So, watching this 170 here, guys, on NVIDIA, this could be similar to sort of that Microsoft trade. Right here. So right here, guys, I am watching this. If we reject this 170 level, right, then I am definitely watching for the downside. This is 170. This is 170. This is support at 170. And if we cannot get back above 170, I think their weakness will come in here. So NVIDIA, on top of it being on top of me looking for weakness, part of the other reason is look how much it's up. Right, this is one of the largest moves to the upside over the last 2 months. NVIDIA from its bottom to its peak was up 70%. Huge move on NVIDIA. So this was up 70% off the lows. And if there's any type of eagerness for the market to move lower, NVIDIA could be the one that sort of falls the most after being up so much. So that is something I'm watching. I'm watching to see if 170 turns into a rejection. This looks very similar to Microsoft, right? Yeah, we talked about yesterday. So if I see something like this, I will definitely be in this thing. So just watch for NVIDIA off 170 today. If that thing rejects, could be nice. We'll go Meta because I know some of you guys asked for this one. I tried to trade Meta to the downside yesterday, and I just got chopped up, man. I got totally chopped up. I lost like $200, I think, and it was just a disaster. It ended up working if you paid attention to it on the longer term time frames, if you had a little bit more patience. But I traded Meta like right in this area. After this 117 break, right around this 117.50, I was just sort of in this thing, and it was just chopping away. I mean, and eventually I was just like, I'm out of this thing. I mean, it chopped from 9:30 to around 10:30 for about an hour. It did absolutely nothing. It started to lose some steam, but really not much, right? It did start to, it did start to slip. I can't, I take that back. It definitely did start to slip pretty aggressively. But I got stopped out above 117.50. It was a nice trade. And on the longer term time frames, it still is a nice trade. But it is fighting. And I don't know. I'm probably going to stay away from Meta here because it's putting in a little bit too much fight for me. You can see today it's up $2 a share, which is pretty crazy. JP Morgan increased the price target. I don't know how legitimate you take that. Who knows? I'm not going to be buying Meta because of JP Morgan's price target increase, but that's why it's moving up probably today. And it's just, I don't know. I think I'd stay away from it. Guys. I don't really like what's going on here. I don't like that it's up with the market down. It makes zero sense to me. I'm not going to try to wrap my head around this. I'd rather just leave it alone. I'm not going to be like, oh, I wonder if, this is this and this. No. I'm going to trade whatever's going down with the market. I'm going to trade whatever's going up with the market. I'm not going to worry about the stocks that are doing some random shit. So I'd leave it alone. I wouldn't try to understand what's going on here. Maybe it sets up another time, but it's just going to piss you off. That's all it's going to do. It's going to piss you off. That's literally all it's going to do. AMD. Yeah, AMD, it worked, right? What we were talking about on AMD worked very nicely. The 69 rejection, right? That was perfect. 69 rejection, that's what we were looking for. Previous top here at 69 yesterday. Look at what happened, guys. Absolutely perfect. Pushed higher, 69 rejection. Not sure if that was a wick candle or not, but 69 rejection was perfect. And you can see more downside today. What would I be looking at today? I would be looking for it to reject yesterday's lows. Very clean, right? It's the same exact thing every day, guys, right? We see this all the time. Yesterday's lows into a rejection point, that's what I would be watching. If AMD does not stay under yesterday's lows, I would not short the stock. So that is sort of that's like the area you want to see reject today, right? You want to see AMD stay below yesterday's lows. If it stays below yesterday's lows, then I like it for downside. The only thing I would say, right, to be cautious of is that you are coming down into this level here, right? This 65 area, this was sort of my price target. So be careful at 65. If it does break 65, I think you'll move down to the 63 right in here. But just be a little bit cautious at 65. Watch that, and then watch watch the yesterday's lows, right? Watch the yesterday's lows. Look at what it's starting to do right now, actually. Look at that. Push higher right into yesterday's lows. So watch that. 66.20, 50. It's also the 50 SMA. Yeah, that could be very nice. So watch that today. Yesterday's lows, AMD. What did someone want to look at? I think someone wanted to look at Enphase, if I'm not mistaken. So, guys, again, I think Enphase should be a fantastic short. However, Enphase has proven me wrong in this ridiculous grind to the upside. So maybe one day it gives up. Once this price action heats up, maybe I'll look for it. But as of now, I have no interest, and I would be very careful on it. It's being held up by something that we can't see, in my opinion. All right, let's go into the. Actually, we're gonna go into the tickers. We're gonna go into the Spider ETFs real quick. All right, let's go over XLF first because XLF is getting nasty here. I know I've seen a lot of people shorting the XLF. I think that was a fantastic play. Look how clean this was. Rejection. Trust the technicals. Trust the analysis. You got yourself a very nice downside move on the financials. Down again in the pre-market today. This could definitely continue. So XLF, watch the weakness on the Dow because of this, right? If the XLF is weak, that will hurt the Dow a lot. The JP Morgan's Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan is 2, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But Goldman Sachs is a major part of the Dow Jones. If XLF is moving lower and Goldman Sachs is moving lower, that will put weight on Dow Jones. All right, so that's important. XLE. XLE is our energy sector. It's trying to hold on to that 85. Oh, it looks like it gapped down this morning. Yeah, it's down a little bit this morning. Okay, so we're back under 85. Yeah, I mean, if the energy sector is below 85, then I would look for the downside. But again, the energy sector is very dependent on the oil futures, which I am admittedly, right, I am not very in tune with oil futures movement. I do not watch, OPEC's meetings and everything that affects the energy sector. So I may not be the best to ask here about the energy sector, but just watch that 85 level. That's, in my opinion, what to watch. XLV. This is the healthcare sector, and we're starting to reject up here at these highs. So if the healthcare sector starts to pull back, then watch for this pullback to around 135. That will also hurt the Nasdaq or hurt the Dow because of UNH. UNH is rejecting this major triple top, quadruple top as well. So watch that one. Yeah, Apple. Yeah, I mean, Apple is this is going to be big, guys. If you want to watch, Apple will definitely affect the market. And if Apple breaks this low, then yeah, I mean, yeah. If Apple breaks this low, I don't really need to say much. I mean, it's going to definitely affect the market without a doubt. All right, if Apple starts breaking new lows since this May low here, it's going to get aggressive, right? Because Apple is a major part of the market, and that will definitely influence the rest of the market. So keep an eye on this 135, 130 area on Apple. Pretty big. I would say 130 is like the last line there. 130, 135. That's big. All right. Let's go over some of the stocks you guys want to look at. FSLR, yeah, I mean, guys, I wish I could, right? I wish I could say that I think that this is going to break down, but I just don't see it. I mean, yeah, I see the head and shoulder you're talking about here. I see that. I'm pretty scarred, I'd say. And I think that this sector is being held up by, something that I don't quite understand. So you can see, yeah, I mean, the head and shoulder is there for sure. I do like what you're pointing out there. I do see it. So just see if it stays under 162. But I'd be concerned about shorting the energy or the solar sector. Disney. Weekly chart. Yeah. Disney's wow. Yeah, Disney just back at, oh my god, yeah. Disney's almost back at COVID lows. That's pretty crazy to me. Disney at COVID lows. Is it really worth that little? I don't know. I don't stay in tune with Disney much. But yeah, Disney nearing those COVID lows of 79. We're at, what are we at, 90? Pretty damn close, about 10 points off. Yeah, you're starting to potentially break this pretty major demand down here on the daily. What's the exact low? I mean, what's the low of this candle? Low of this candle is 90.23. So I would put a line there at 90.23. That's what I would watch. See what it does at 90.23. If it breaks that, you might get some more downside. Definitely looks weak, though. DocuSign, it's just a dead stock, guys. Dead. Let's see. Is there anything here? I mean, it's probably just rejecting some of these lows here. That's my opinion. This whole area, this whole 60 area, that's probably what it's doing right now. You can see right here, previous support into a rejection. That's what I'd watch, 60. If you want to short DocuSign, have a stop over 60. Adobe. Oh, shit, dude. We talked about this one yesterday, right? Oh, is it up in the pre-market? What happened on Adobe? Is it earnings? Earnings? Yeah, earnings. Okay. Yeah, earnings on Adobe. What do you want me to say? So, Adobe earnings, I would say I would even consider I got to be honest, my first thought is to sell into that. If Adobe pushes up into this 350 and to this previous rejection point up here, right? I would say my first thought is to sell into that earnings pop. So, previous lows into a potential rejection point, you might be able to sell into that earnings, but that will take some precision. Last one I'm doing here is TSM. Yeah, TSM. It's potentially breaking this channel low, guys. This could be juicy. Let's watch this. 78. If TSM rejects 78, you do not have much support here. 75, 72, big gap into 70. It's pretty much straight upside into like maybe 66, maybe 64, right? You have very little stuff going on here on the left side of the chart. So yeah, look for 70 to reject. I would watch that. Siva, you got it. Woo. And then we're out of here. I don't really like this Siva at all. Support probably steps in around this 315 right here. Let's go to the daily chart real quick. Yeah, I would say support probably steps in around this 315, Siva. Right around this 200 SMA, previous lows here. Watch 315 as support. Okay, that's your next support level. All right, guys. That's all I got. Have a fantastic day. If you guys want to get the technicals that we go over here in the live stream, if you want to get them in a text format, it's down below. It says free technicals. You can check that out. If you want to trade live every day with me in the group, you can check that out as well. It is down below. It says trade live with me. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Very happy it's Friday. Press that like button before you head out if you could, guys. That will help me out. Subscribe to the channel. That'll help the channel continue to grow. If you enjoy being here, that helps a lot. Thank you guys again. Let's have a good Friday. Let's get out of here unharmed. Let's close the week strong. If you had a great week, guys, please don't ruin it. Please don't ruin it. All right? Take a step back. If you had a good week so far, take a step back, scale down today. You know, maybe you learn a little bit, maybe you mess around with a few $100. Nothing that's going to crush you, and just end the week on a strong note. Right? That is very big for your mentality, very big for your psychology. You don't need to ruin your week on a Friday. There is nothing worse than ruining your week on a Friday, walking away into the weekend, having to wait for Monday, and just knowing that you just screwed it up because you were aggressive on a Friday. Okay? Take it safe. Go into the weekend on a strong note. That's more important than anything else. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Peace.
Wow.